throw some light on this subject. All right. Uno momento, por favor. Viewers may join your live soon. Get ready, they tell me. Should I plug this light in? I guess the light's good enough. We mustn't be perfectionists. Welcome to Having a Drink with Sandwich Dad. I'm here in my sandwich cave. Not looking to talk about anything specific. I'm planning on starting a Wednesday night live with Sandwich Dad coming up in the next couple of weeks once I have a minute, where we'll have subjects in mind such as breads or how to make a good grilled cheese. I don't know how to do things, but I'm here, so hello. Sandwich Mom is off at a show. I'm by myself. The kids are in bed, and so I'm going to have a beer and hang out with y'all. Greetings in Ontario there, Maddie. What's my least favorite condiment? That's a good question. What is my least favorite condiment? You know, it's not necessarily a condiment, but, I'm not a big fan of sweet pickles. Favorite sandwich. The favorite sandwich question is my favorite question because I never have an answer for it. I don't know what my favorite sandwich is. I feel like I haven't found my favorite sandwich yet. I could probably give a top 10 list. I should probably make a top 10 list. But I don't know. It depends on a mood. I feel like, not all sandwiches are equal. There's a top tier that I like. But, So the beer that I'm drinking, pardon me, is a Co-op Gold Pilsner Lager. It's got a picture of a bear on it. It's brewed here in Saskatchewan. And yeah, I think the picture of the bear is pretty smart. So I'm going to crack that open. If you ever meet someone from Saskatchewan, they always prefer beer in green bottles or cans. It's statistically proven. Even when we're away from Saskatchewan, you can tell if there's a lot of people from Saskatchewan in a place by how high up Pilsner is in the rack in their beer fridge at a bar. Anyway, let's see here. Love you right back there, Shane. He's our arch nemesis, Soup Mom. Well, I haven't yet found Soup Mom, but I'd gladly have a nemesis of Soup Mom, wherever she may be. Explain to you why chicken, mayo, and pickles pair perfectly. Well, chicken is a blank canvas. Mayonnaise is fat, and pickles are acid, and fat and acid are best friends. Let's see. Ever eat a peanut butter and banana with some vanilla yogurt and walnuts? I have not, Ricky, but I will now. Let's see here. PB and onion. I have had PB and onion. I'm actually going to do, maybe coming up on Easter break, I might do with my kids another sort of round of peanut butter. Sandwich Dad devotees may remember that back in, I guess it was 2 years ago now, March break, we did a whole series, a peanut butter week on Sandwich Dad, where I went through all of the stupid peanut butter combinations that people had told me that can come up with and tried to, find which one was best. And some of the sandwich kids tried some of theirs as well. But I think there's been enough peanut butter sandwiches coming at me in the last 2 years that we can very safely do that again. Greetings, everybody. Pardon me. I need a sip of this beer, but I like to read the comments. Let's see. Let's see here. Yeah, that's okay. You can do whatever you'd like, Shane. I'm gonna have a sneaky cigarette later before Sandwich Mom gets home. I don't do the smoking no more, not for a long time, but I like to sneak out and have one when Sandwich Mom's not around. A haggis and cheese toasty. Well, there's a place in town that does haggis every once in a while. I think they may still have it on. I'll have to go and check. I would love to make a haggis and cheese toasty. Let's see. Dark beer bottle. That makes sense. But as long as the label's green is what Saskatchewanians are going for. Are grocery store prices high where I am? Yes, Iowa Timmy. Grocery store prices are high. They're high everywhere. Somehow my co-op giant sandwich video that some of you might have seen has kind of blown up in the last couple of weeks with 100,000 views or whatever, and it seems like it blew up today in England. And I guess they have co-ops in England too, which is where I got the giant sandwich from. And almost every comment on that video is, $14 for a sandwich. And I mean, they used to be $11 until the great grocery gouge of 2022 came along and everything shot way up. So yeah, grocery store prices are super high where I am and where everybody is in Canada especially. But I do want to prove, I'm going to make a response video to that giant sandwich video about just, the expense of that giant sandwich. Because a lot of people are saying you can pick up the ingredients and make that for less than $14. And Sandwich Dad actually started proving that you can't do that. I just wrote about it and sort of talked about it locally. But I think I do need to go and try and make one of those gigantic grocery store sandwiches from scratch and see how cheaply I can make one. Because it ain't easy. I think you're going to pay at least $15 to $20 to make one of those sandwiches. Let's see. I will do that yogurt sandwich, I promise you. Beer and cigs are like peanut butter and jelly. When Lay's was doing those contests for chip flavors, there was different ones in the States than there were in Canada. But every year I would put in cigarettes and beer. That's the Canadian Lay's flavor, I think. Bombay sandwich. Yes, I've made a Bombay sandwich. I made it, I think, this summer, and incredible sandwich. I have to make it again though, because my neighbor across the street is from India, and she makes the absolute best green chutney, and I need to get her recipe or just have her make me one. We're going to do a little sandwich trade maybe, but I do need to make that Bombay sandwich again. Hi, Eliza. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Yes, it is. There's a... I'll prove it to you. Using the science of taxonomy, right here. You see, if we look at a sandwich from a taxonomical point of view, the only thing that it can really be is a class of foodstuffs. And under the class, you're going to have different orders, families, genus, and species. And if the class of sandwich is a carbohydrate-based vehicle with some sort of filling. How is it written here? Ingredients made fundamentally portable by using a cooked vessel or a vessel of pre-cooked bread. That's what makes it a class. And then anything under that can be lumped in by either bread type or ingredient, depending on where you want to put your family order and genus and species there. But it is scientifically proven. I got to improve this, and I may put it on a shirt or something, because I've been trying to tout this for a while. I showed it to what's his name? What are those guys' names? Mythic Kitchen. Josh over at Mythic Kitchen. I showed him this, and he was mildly into it. He reposted it. So anyway, I'm gonna get this cleaned up one of these days and put it out there, just to finally put that hot dog as a sandwich question to bed. Yeah. Anyway, you can also look it up in some, I think it's on my website as well under the hot dog one. If you ever go to old sandwichdad.com or sandwichdad.ca, which is where I started just doing blog posts before I got into the old TikToks here. Let's see. Pardon me, guys. I'm coughing a lot tonight. Do I like living up north? I don't live as far up north anymore. I live in Saskatoon now, which is, still far up north compared to many people, but definitely not as north as when I lived in the Yukon. But I like living up in the north. I like living a little bit further south, because living up in the Yukon, it was a bit too much with the you get an extra month of winter on every side. Summer was just too short. The summers up there are amazing. You don't get any darkness, and it's just, that's why I fell in love with the place and ended up in the Yukon for a long time. But it is nice to have a bit of a longer growing season, especially for someone who's into food like I am. Being able to grow my own food and actually grow things like apples, is a bit nicer. I do miss the north a little bit. I've still got my Yukon flag up there. I lived there for about 18 years, but I'm from Saskatchewan, and it is kind of nice to be home as well, though. Let's see. What else is everybody saying? Sorry, guys, I got to scroll here. Do I prefer hot dogs or bratwurst? I like a hot dog. Bratwurst are fine, but I think bratwurst are a completely different thing. A hot dog is a real, like that dirty water grocery store hot dog, or for me, I usually microwave them because I'm an absolute disgusting person. That hot dog scratches a different itch than the bratwurst. The bratwurst to me is a meal. A hot dog is more of a snack. Do I prefer crunchy or creamy? I'm a crunchy person. You know, especially when you're looking at many of the sandwiches you're using peanut butter in, it can use an extra textural element. That's the smooth is fine. Nothing against smooth. You know, for a while there, Kraft in Canada was making a whipped peanut butter, and that was an amazing dessert peanut butter. Like if you ever like dipped cookies in it, it was just so light and fluffy. Pardon me. It was. If you ever had that whipped peanut butter, it was amazing. But yeah, I tend to buy crunchy unless smooth is really on sale, or I'm not the one doing the shopping, which is rare. Oh, thank you, Stenia. I hope I'm saying that right. I love that you love my content, so thank you for tuning in. Peanut butter and Velveeta. No, no, I don't think I have. You know, I've had peanut butter and cheese and peanut butter and, like a sharp cheddar. I've done that grilled even. I don't think I've ever done it with like Velveeta or sort of like the American cheese before, but I can put that on the list for sure. Andrew, you're just a couple minutes behind. Is a hot dog a sandwich? I was just showing everybody my taxonomy chart over here. Yes, because a sandwich is, as in this chart, a class of foods, and that what that means is that there's orders and families and genuses and species underneath them to which the hot dog branches off. But it is a sandwich, and I mean I can make a bit of a simile in that, you know, in the same way that a platypus is a mammal, a hot dog is a sandwich. I do live in Saskatoon now. I grew up here, and we moved down here last May, which is it's been nice to be back. You know, it's a bit of an adjustment, not being by ourselves in the middle of the woods anymore, and being, you know, kind of in a medium-sized city. But I like it. It's been great so far. Dutch crunch bread. Yeah, you know, it's funny. It's common in the Bay Area, the Dutch crunch, hey? You don't see it too often around here. I haven't seen it much, you know, commercially in Canada. I did make it. I used, I don't know if anyone follows or Jonathan Surratt, Bounded by Buns is his website. He's on all the social medias. I don't think he's on TikTok, though. But he has recipes for all different kinds of bread, and I used his to make a Dutch crunch bread for, is it up on the wall here? Yeah, right over here. Can't quite see it, but my sandwich in 2022, I think maybe, my birthday sandwich, I made it on Dutch crunch bread. But hard to find commercially around here, but a great bread. I always think about making it again. Very soft and just looks so cool. Let's see. Sandwich poster is something. Is that available out in the world? The sandwich poster, which one? Like these ones are all kind of just pirated ones, honestly. Like this the Encyclopedia of Sandwiches over there. I just found the highest quality image I could on Reddit and printed it at my local Walmart, and sort of same thing with the charted sandwich board. Those were already in existence. I don't know where the Encyclopedia of Sandwiches came from. It just sort of showed up on the internet a few years ago. I've been trying to track down sources for it, but I've been yet unable to track down like the source for it. The charted sandwich board up here, that was linked to a company whose name I can't remember at the moment, but also very good. I've been working on my own sandwich poster, but I'm fancying myself as too much of a graphic artist, and I think I need to outsource that. But I've got lots of pictures and I've got lots of ideas for different sandwich posters, sort of like, you know, the vintage style, and you know, different types of sandwiches, you know, grouped into various taxonomical groups, things like that. So hopefully I'll get that out in the world one of these days, my own sandwich poster. These are out in the world. You just gotta kind of print them at your local Walmart, or like there's some Etsy sellers who've like, you know, touched them up and marked them up and the rest of it. But you know, I've had the Elvis. There's a couple of Elvis sandwiches, Ryan. There's of course the most popular is the grilled peanut butter, banana, and bacon. Although apparently bacon was sort of like the after. It was sort of retrofitted to it. I guess the actual Elvis was just peanut butter and banana, grilled or fried, and the bacon was, you know, not always in there. But it's good. There's the other Elvis sandwich, is the Fool's Gold loaf. The Fool's Gold loaf is a full loaf of French bread with a jar of blueberry preserves, a jar of peanut butter, and a full slab of bacon. on there altogether. And I guess he used to take a private jet to a restaurant someplace in Colorado to always get that. But I've made that one too. Good sandwich. Let's see. It is Sandwich Dad. Hello, Zachary. How you doing, my friend? I'm doing all right. You're in Saskatoon, who? Oh, sweet. You're by St. Paul's Hospital. I was born in St. Paul's Hospital. So there you go. Very next to the birthplace of Sandwich Dad. Let's see. Favorite bread for sandwiches? That's a good question. You know, if you're watching this, you may be also a fan of Jake over at Adventures in Artie and Roll for Sandwich, and you may have seen the video recently where someone had put together all of the spreadsheets of Jake's sandwiches that he had rolled randomly, and what combination creates the perfect sandwich. And his perfect bread, the one that had the most 10 out of 10s, was rye bread, or the highest rated anyways. And, you know, it is hard to beat a good rye bread because it toasts up so nice. It's just seedy. It's just got enough of flavor. You know, it's always tempting to say sourdough, but you know what? Not all sourdoughs are created equal. Sometimes you get kind of a shitty sourdough, and it's not what you're expecting. I really like just a plain old white bread, but it's probably not my favorite. You know, when I think about it, I think rye bread might be the winner. You know, when I think about like a really good sandwich that I've had, it's either going to be a really good rye bread or a really great Italian roll a lot of the times. Let's see here. You can buy Dutch Crunch at Safeway. Well, there's a couple Safeways still around. Sobeys bought them out in Canada, but there's a couple Safeways still around. I'm going to go look for it again. I'll see if I can find it. There's a Sobeys next to my house, and they don't have it, but maybe the Safeway, down a few neighborhoods over may have it. What are my cholesterol levels? Well, I got my blood tested back last year, and the doctor said, yeah, they're bordering on high. And so I have to exercise more and watch what I eat and supplement with fish oil. But I don't actually eat that much. You know, I eat stupid giant sandwiches. But sometimes that's all I really eat in a day. And I try and take care of myself and eat my vegetables, but I could do better. And I do need to, make sure that my cholesterol lowers a little bit now that I'm 40. Let's see. Sausage, egg, and cheese Texas melt from Waffle House. Ooh, I'm going to look that one up, my friend. Who's my favorite Rolling Stone? I feel like the obnoxious answer is to say Brian Jones. Just because, Her Satanic Majesty's Request is just, it seems like that was like the Stones album that like made the Stones, But, it's an obnoxious answer because for most of the highlights of their career, he was not in the band because he was dead. But, I'm still going to say Brian Jones. Why not? Let's see. What's the most unnecessarily complicated sandwich? Oh, that's a really good question, and there's definitely an answer to that. Let me just consult my charts real quick. Most unnecessarily complicated. Let's see. Thanksgiving can be kind of complicated because you have the ingredients on hand. It's typically whatever you have on hand. I guess I couldn't say that one. Sometimes a Cubano is a little complicated because you have to have that roast pork, and if you're not used to roasting a lot of pork, maybe you don't have it around. But it's not that complicated. It's just ham and pork and cheese and pickle and mustard. And if you like sandwiches, you probably have most of that on hand anyways. You know what? I think a needlessly complicated sandwich, at least one that I'm looking at on my board here, is the Kentucky Hot Brown. And I don't want to mess with anyone who loves a Kentucky Hot Brown. Some people swear by that sandwich. It's their favorite sandwich of all time. It's just, the turkey, the sauce, the tomato, the bacon, it's a little much. But, it's probably not the most needlessly complicated sandwich. It's just, looking behind me, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty needlessly complicated. There's a lot of complicated sandwiches that are incredible, and either I took a really long time to make them, I know about them for a while. Even just my last video, if you saw my last video with the casse-croûte, the Tunisian sandwich, it's a bit of a complicated sandwich. You got to have a few specific ingredients there. And it took me a long time to make it because I didn't have the specific ingredients, and I just couldn't be asked to go out and get them. And so, and even something like the Bombay sandwich, And well, the casserole too, you're supposed to have potatoes in it. I didn't put potatoes in it, but for you want to make a proper Bombay sandwich or Mumbai sandwich, it's you gotta boil potatoes. And I never have a boiled potato on hand, and I just usually can't be bothered to boil a potato for a sandwich. So there is that, but those sandwiches are also spectacular and definitely worth doing. So let's see, what's better, peanut butter J, peanut butter banana? Oh, that's a good question. What's better, peanut butter J or peanut butter and banana? I don't know. Oh yeah, thanks, Higgleberry. Yeah, the lad's doing fine. He went to bed a little later than I wanted tonight, but he's done. He was in little kids stupid soccer today, where they run around and they don't really listen or kick a ball for a while and they get tired. And I hoped he would nap, and he didn't. But yeah, he's doing fine. Let's see, peanut butter J versus peanut butter banana. Let's see. I gotta go with the peanut butter and jam, just because I am not a huge banana fan. Uh, not my forte. I feel like there's a certain type of person who, when they turn 40 years old, they're like, "Yep, gotta have a banana every day." I I would rather eat a million different things than a banana, and it's just not my favorite flavor. I don't really like them, and so I'm gonna have to say peanut butter and jam, specifically raspberry, because raspberry jam is my favorite. Let's see. So let's see. Reubens are overrated. Fight me. I don't need to fight you. You're kind of right, Joseph. I think Reubens are sometimes overrated. I think that sometimes you can get one that really hits the spot where you really, what you needed was a Reuben. It's probably one of my most requested sandwiches, especially when I started doing this. People are like, if you made a Reuben, can you make a Reuben? Yeah, and yeah, they're just kind of okay a lot of the time, especially when you get them out, because a lot of people will over sauce and they'll use too much sauerkraut, or they'll just use kind of crappy corned beef. You can make a really good Reuben. Specifically, if you have a really nice sauce for it, you can make lots of great Reuben-esque sandwiches where you have like a really smoky, salty meat combined with like a pickled element and like a really strong sauce to contend with all of that. But you're not wrong that Reubens are overrated. I kind of hold that same opinion. They're a fine sandwich and they can be spectacular, but a lot of the times they're middle of the road just because they're not always made in the way that they should be. So I definitely agree with you on that one. Did I ever get the Falcon from Publix? Well, the nearest Publix to me is going to be is a ways away, and I haven't been down to the old southeastern United States in quite some time, which is, I think, mostly where Publix is, if I'm correct. I've heard incredible things about Publix sandwiches, but I have yet to try one. I've got a couple that I've written down recipes for, or just sort of what's in them, because I've heard so many good things, but I haven't tried any of them yet. But I will go back and give them another look. The Falcon, I will keep my eye on it, and that is one thing that I am pretty behind on. Is I get a lot of requests, and I don't make a lot of videos in a week just because of the nature of sort of my life and how busy I am lately. It's hard for me to make more than 2 or 3 videos a week, and certain things kind of fall by the wayside. So I have requests that are, actually years old, and I feel bad that I haven't made them yet. But they're on my list. I promise they are. So I do get to things a bit later, even if even if it's sort of a flash in the pan kind of thing. Like I'm sure I'll do like a TikTok trend from a couple of years ago coming up in a couple of weeks, just because I'm so behind on everything. But it also depends on what I have. So let's see. Monte Cristo is the perfect sandwich. Well, there's so many different versions of Monte Cristos, John. There's the pancake batter sort of deep fried. There's just sort of the egg washed. There's savory. There's sweet. There's some people put turkey on them. Some people love the jam and powdered sugar. Some people don't. So many different elements to it. But hey, if Monte Cristo is your perfect sandwich, that's awesome. It's a great sandwich. You can't go wrong with it. Let's see. Yeah, and I'm not going to disagree that Reubens aren't one of the all-time greatest sandwiches. They're a great sandwich, but it's hard to always do them consistently well. I'm going to go have a Reuben at a place next week that's touted as one of the best in the city, and I'm really excited to try it. I met the owner of this place. I did a podcast with him, and I didn't realize that he owned this place. But he said, "Hey, if you ever want to come check it out, our Reuben people really like it," and so I'm going to go check it out. Maybe next week or the week after, and I'll post about it. But I hear it's one of the better ones in the city, and you can get a good Reuben, but it really does depend. Safeway or Save On Food sandwich. The Save On Food sandwich is pretty good. They're lumberjack there. But the Safeway has a special place in my heart because it is the OG. The Safeway giant sandwich is the real one. But in Canada, Sobeys bought out Safeway, and I feel like it's gone a bit downhill, the sandwiches there. So I kind of got to go with Save On. Although Save On's is probably the most fucking expensive sandwich. I do like... Save On, I feel like, is in Whitehorse anyways, was always like the expensive grocery store. You're not saving on any foods there, that's for sure. Reubens are definitely a good barometer of deli's quality. And a Cuban can be better than Reuben, but a Cuban can be screwed up too. It really depends. Let's see. Sorry, guys, I'm behind on all the comments here. Number one sandwich of all time, Ian. I don't really have one of all time. I have sandwiches that I think about a lot. But, just as someone who deals in a large quantity of sandwiches, I kind of have to put everything into different compartments. Favorite kind, I could say like my favorite type of sandwich that I got. Like maybe like my favorite like banh mi I've ever had is at a certain place, or like my favorite Italian sandwich I've ever had is at a certain place. But I couldn't just pick one because I love all sandwiches a lot. It's like ask me to pick a favorite child, which I have, but I'm not going to tell you. Let's see. Subway or Mr. Sub? You know what, my man? I have not been to Mr. Sub in so long. I tried to convince Sandwich Mum to get some Mr. Sub with me the other day. But she's an old, crusty Ontarian Gen Xer, and she's like, Mr. Sub, we're not going to Mr. Sub. That place barely even exists anymore. And I was like, but I haven't had it in so long. I used to be all Mr. Sub all the time. But I haven't had it in a long time. And there's one not too far from here. And I am planning to go back. Mr. Sub's Pizza Sub was always pretty good. So let's see. Location. I'm in Saskatoon. Oh, we got a couple Saskatoonians on here. Just having myself a nice co-op Pilsner is what we're drinking today. Thanks, Matt. I really appreciate that. And you know what, Matt? I think you're right. Nothing really does beat a good BLT or Clubhouse. Those are elite tier sandwiches in my mind. I was talking to, for any Saskatoonians out there, I was talking to my pal Clayton. Clayton Croker, who you might know, has been doing around Saskatoon here, has been doing, trying to find the best food items. His most recent was the best noodle bowl in Saskatoon. We have really great Vietnamese food here, and he was doing the best noodle bowl. I joined him at Nong Nong because they also have really great banh mi. And he's recently endeavored on a few more province-wide quests. And when I talk about clubhouse sandwiches, I remember being 14 distinctly and having a clubhouse in La Ronge, Saskatchewan, and thinking, one of these days I'm going to go to every small town in Saskatchewan, and I'm going to try the clubhouse sandwiches at every small town diner, and I'm going to figure out which is the best clubhouse in Saskatoon. And now that Clayton's going all over Saskatchewan anyways, I'm hoping that he can maybe take that torch and live out my childhood dream. But eventually I just became sandwich dad, so that kind of worked out too. Yeah, that video for stats with roll for sandwiches is really interesting. Let's see. Have you been to Gangsters? I have been to Gangsters. Gangsters is good. I like their hot subs a bit more, just because of the pre-made quality of the sandwiches at Gangsters here in Saskatoon. They're very good, and I love the people there, and they make really good sandwiches. But I think their hot and fresh sandwiches are better than their pre-mades. But yeah, they're really good sandwiches. Italian beef with sausage dipped. 100% you got to dip that. Some nice JP Graziano hot jardiniere on there. Jim Graziano, there was a video of him on Instagram. He's wearing the old sporting the Sandwich Dad hoodie, which I appreciate. Let's see. Can me roll for sandwich and sandwiches of history create a super group together? Well, I mean, Barry and Jim and I have a bit of a group chat that we do some stuff on. Jake's very busy over at Roll for Sandwich. But we're thinking about getting maybe something together and doing a little group project at some point. All of us weird sandwich fellas here. Let's see. Has sandwich that always been a sandwich man? No, I've always been a sandwich man. From my youth, 100%. Let's see. You can call it the Crust Ice League. I like it. The Crustus League. I get it. Yeah, we should call it the Crustus League. I'm going to pitch that to the other fellas. Let's see. Last meal. Doesn't have to be a sandwich. Well, that's a good question. I think my last meal might be like, it might be like a really good loaded, like prime cold cut Italian hoagie, honestly. Let's see. Only two left. Are you talking about the Safeways? Sorry, guys. I'm like 18 messages behind. Hello in northern Wisconsin. I'm going to go fast and go through a couple of these really quick. Jimmy John's, Jersey Mike's, and Firehouse. I've only been to Jersey Mike's because we don't have any of those in Canada yet. Jersey Mike's has just come into Canada. I had one in California when I was there recently. Haven't had Firehouse or Jimmy John's, but I'll take it. One of these days I'm going to try them. Let's see. Sandwich Dad, thank you very much, my friend. Getting down here. Thanks, Sammy. Clubhouse, definitely a classic. Good Italian is hard to beat. You're absolutely right about that. I've definitely got merch. Yeah, go check it out. You can find it on the website, sandwichdad.ca or sandwichdad.com. Both will take you to the same place. All my stuff's there. I'm going to start doing a bit more writing and blog posts there, talking a bit more about Sandwiches of Canada and a few of the other condiment corners. I'm going to start doing some write-ups on some of those to companion with the videos. So check out the old website there. Iceberg Romaine. You know what? I'm back on Iceberg. I was on Romaine for a while. I'm back on Iceberg. It's just, it's the crunch you need, but you got to be careful with Iceberg because sometimes it doesn't lend itself well to certain ingredients. You know what I found out? Iceberg and brie do not go well together. There's something about the sort of bland wateriness and the crisp versus like that soft and sort of pungency of the rinded soft cheese that just does not go well together. So if you're putting brie or any soft rind cheese on a sandwich, don't use Iceberg on it. I found out that the hard way, and I couldn't figure out why I hated the sandwich that I was eating. And it was that combination. So that's a tip for everybody there. Where in Canada is the Jimmy John's coming? I know there's one coming in Ontario. I don't know if there's any coming out west. I think there's already a Jersey Mike's or two in Ontario. And it was big news a couple of months ago that Jimmy John's, Firehouse, and Jersey Mike's were trying to get into Canada a little bit more. But I like Jersey Mike's quite a bit. I like getting Mike's Way, get the juice on it, and they had that red pepper relish that I got on it as well, which was great. Let's see, horsey sauce at Arby's or on your Arby's roast beef. I like horsey sauce. I like to make my own horsey sauce. I like to make my own Arby's roast beef, honestly. Arby's is nice. They're closing. There's two Arby's in Saskatoon. They're closing one down, oddly enough. So, got to get your Arby's at. I think there's the only one now is on Circle Drive in Saskatoon. But thoughts on ciabatta bread? Ciabatta bread, I think, is interesting. I think ciabatta bread is super interesting because it's like a recent bread. It's not like an old school Italian bread. Ciabatta was invented like kind of recently. As like the Italians are so passionate about food, they're pissed off that the French have this iconic baguette, and they're like, we need something to rival the goddamn baguette. And so they invented ciabatta, and it's a good bread. Nothing wrong with it. I think there are some terrible ciabattas. You know what I don't like? I don't like those triangle ciabattas they got at Costco. I wish they had like a better bag of buns at Costco, not those stupid triangle ones. I don't like the triangle buns. No to triangle buns. Hey there. Let's see. They have Big Star sandwiches there. Is it just in BC? Must just be in BC. I've never seen a Big Star sandwich here. Let's see. I'm going to try and get a little further down, guys. Sorry if I missed your comments. I'm going to try and catch up a bit. Let's see here. Sandwich places live in Saskatoon. We are forgotten a bit, Big Mike, of sandwich places in Saskatoon. There are some really good places around. I'm trying to showcase them as much as I can. I haven't been getting out as much. I used to be going out and trying to do at least one a week. I'm home for lunch most days. I'm not out in town anymore, so I'm not doing as much on sandwiches in Saskatoon. But I'm going to try and get a few more out there so I can let people know about the good sandwiches around. Let's see here. Whoops. What the hell is going on? Oh, did I get all the way to the bottom of my thing? Sweet. All right. You relish the fact that that I have the mustard wherewithal to catch up. I caught up. Thank you so much for your condiment puns, Baja sauce. I really appreciate it. Let's see. If you invented a Hulk Hogan sandwich, what would you put on it? That's a really great question. What would be on a Hulk Hogan sandwich? I mean, I don't know if you can get 24-inch python meat. But if you could, I guess you'd put that on it. I might have to think about that one. What would be a Hulk Hogan sandwich? I don't know if I can answer that one on the fly. But creating sandwiches based on things is something I want to do a little bit more of, trying to figure that out. I have tried Gangsters, Big Mike. Gangsters is great. Great local spot. I like the one. I like their meatball subs, just because they're kind of made fresh. The wrap sandwiches are really good, but I do wish they kind of did a bit more like made in front of you. It doesn't, not that it would necessarily change it. It's just like it's the experience. I wish they would do that, but I understand why they don't, because it's really freaking hard to make that happen and get those sandwiches out the door quickly. And but yeah, no, I love Gangsters. It's a great place, and all of the extras that he makes over at Gangsters are incredible. So let's see, any fun applications you've had of peanut butter on a savory sandwich? Yes, I was mentioning earlier that a while back I did a peanut butter week a couple of years ago with the kids when they were off, and we did a week's worth of peanut butter sandwich videos and tried to rank as many as we could. I think there might be a playlist that I have about it from a couple of years back. I'm going to do it again, I think maybe next week when the kids are off here again. Maybe try and come up with some other peanut butter combos. I've got a few in mind to do. But one of my favorite savory applications that someone gave me was just peanut butters, cucumbers, cilantro, and hot sauce. Amazing. Randy Savage sandwich would just be Slim Jims eating on Wonder Bread. Ooh, yeah. I knew that ooh, yeah, was going to do that to me, but I did it anyway. But yes, the peanut butter week I'm going to try and do again, especially now that I've said it on the live. Now I have to do it. Now I'm committed. Damn it. But I do have some interesting things I want to put on peanut butter. I've got so many condiments. I've got my condiment shelf over here, and I've been really wanting to pair a few different things. So absolutely, I'm going to be using some interesting new peanut butter recipes, which also, if anyone who's on the live right now has any great peanut butter sandwich recommendations, shoot me a DM. I'd be happy to add it to the list. I've done quite a few of the average before, with mayo and onion, and pickle is still my favorite. Although the Wendigo is pretty good too. For those who aren't familiar with the Wendigo, that would be peanut butter, pickle, mayonnaise, and bacon. Spectacular sandwich. And the almond crunch sauce, yeah, absolutely. I definitely want to use that. Let's see. Hey, Tony. Peanut butter, lettuce, and mayo is a good one too. What foreign cuisine has some of the best sandwiches that you've tried? Well, I mean, that's a pretty good question. I mean, you can really just jump all the way to Vietnam, even if you're just looking at banh mi, because banh mi isn't just a sandwich. It's a type of sandwich, of which there are so many different kinds. But if we're gonna go to like an area, even just like the entire Mediterranean, I'm talking like south of France, I'm talking North Africa, I'm talking Middle East and things like that. There's this sort of consensus of like olives and tuna and that sort of like niçoise salad kind of thing. And I realized that in my last sandwich I made, the casse-croûte from Tunisia, it's it's very similar to the pain bagna of southern France, which is again similar to the fricassee again and a few other North African sandwiches, and then just very similar ingredients. Things like anchovies and olives and eggs and basil and tomatoes and whatever local sort of condiment, and having that soak into the bread. That area has some of the best sandwiches for sure. But I mean, it's honestly, it really isn't a competition. There are so many amazing sandwiches. The one place that I haven't, and it's a big place, the one place I haven't really delved too much into sandwiches is the South American sandwiches, because there's so many, and a lot of them are just like, hey, this is the biggest sandwich we came up with. But there's definitely a few more from there that I got to sort of get in on. I got a lot of them on my list up in the charted sandwiches up here that I haven't tried. But again, I haven't tried everything. But as far as regional and regional cuisine, I'd have to have eaten every sandwich. And not even old Jim Beheimer at Sandwich Tribunal's eaten every sandwich. And he comes up with a brand new, amazing sandwich. It seems like every month he's got some brand new one I've never heard of. So, let's see. Do I keep a spreadsheet? I do not. I'm a very unorganized person. I keep a very loose... I have a few things. I have a spreadsheet, but it's more to kind of organize things by order and family, and and types of sandwiches that way. I have that spreadsheet. I have a list of the sandwiches of Canada that I add to and put little comments in. I have a notes app that I sometimes update. I have kind of a crappy one of where I want to try in Saskatoon to go on my work computer. And then I have a OneNote app that goes between my computer and my phone that I add things to for sort of my what I want to try this week. And sometimes I don't update it for months, but it has kind of like an on deck list, and it also has sort of like the sub lists and the request lists, and they're all very unorganized. Well, I'd show you, but I guess I'm using my phone right now, so I can't really show you. But no, I'm very unorganized. Let's see. Peanut butter and bologna is a good one. Peanut butter and pepperoni, even better. Let's see. Peanut butter and pepper jelly. I understand that. Peanut butter and pepper jelly is pretty good. I'm coming around on the pepper jelly. My sister is a big proponent of the pepper jelly. She's been trying to get me on it for a long time. She gave me a jar the other day. And it was a full unopened jar, which makes no sense because she has like 7 jars of various fullness in her fridge. But, you know, let's see. Tahini and chickpeas. It's a good one. Like with, tahini and chickpeas together are awesome. Let's see. Favorite Subway sub. Well, Eagle Anderson. I'm not sure exactly where you are, if you're Canadian or if you're from elsewhere, but there's a couple of unique ones in Canada. The Italian BMT is usually what I order if I'm feeling flush, but I'm also partial to a cold cut combo. The Subway sandwich combinations they come up with, or they have like their specialty ones. It's sort of like, oh, it's like the sweet onion teriyaki club or whatever. And I'm like, I'm not fucking with that. Just I'll make my own sandwich. All right, I'll tell you what I want on it. And I'm sure that their house sandwiches are good, but I'm not going to pay an extra $3 to have you, I don't know, put teriyaki sauce on a chicken sandwich. I'd rather just have cold cuts. So usually it's a cold cut or an Italian BMT if I'm feeling like I want to pay the extra $2 for the more premium cold cuts. But cold cuts, pretty much all the way. Let's see. Not partial to cilantro. I feel like this whole cilantro thing, the whole the soap gene, I don't think it's a gene. I think it's all situational. It depends on the first time that you've had it. And it depends on the context in which that you've had it. There's so many different foods that people have for the first time that their reaction can be negative for whatever reasons, whether it's too strong, whether it wasn't the right fit, whether there's a negative association with it because it's similarity to another flavor. But I remember hating cilantro when I was younger, and then having it in the context of like kind of going around Mexico and not being able to avoid having cilantro and things, and coming around to it that way. In the same way that I came around to like being able to tolerate heat in foods. I remember going to Mexico and not being able, everything was too spicy when I was probably my early 20s, and by the end of that trip, I was kind of looking for something with a little bit more kick and heat. So I think it is situational, the cilantro thing. And I'm a huge believer that there is no zone in foods. There is positive experiences and there are negative experiences. And I always feel terrible when people have negative experiences with food that other people have positive experiences for. Because it's not always, it's just not for you. It's situational, and it's sometimes about, building tastes. No one's first sip of beer, well, not no one's, but most people's first sip of beer is not a positive experience. You're doing it to get somewhere. But eventually it associates itself with positive experiences and you choke it back for the rest of your life. So, let's see. What sandwich from my childhood set me on this lifelong obsession? Partially the clubhouse sandwich and partially just bologna sandwiches. My dad's a health nut, sandwich grandpa. And Sandwich Grandpa would always be laughing at me, talking about all my nitrate meat sandwiches. And, defiant personality that I am, I decided to just lean into it. Let's see. I have had the Elvis sandwich, both of them, not just the peanut butter bacon and banana, but also the Fool's Gold loaf, which is blueberry preserves, peanut butter, and bacon. Tony Bourdain's mortadella sandwich slaps. It absolutely does. And it's in his cookbook, what the heck's it called again? I can't remember. Appetites, is that it? But there's also an episode of, I think, On the Layover, the one show that he did later on where he's in Sao Paulo, And that mortadella sandwich that he makes it's a staple sandwich in Sao Paulo, Brazil, where they pile the mortadella super high and melt the cheese on it with a little bit of mustard and mayo. Brazilians, they love their mayonnaise, so it is technically a Brazilian sandwich as well, but Anthony Bourdain made it super popular, and yeah, it does slap. It's amazing. Let's see, PB and hot honey. I haven't got on the hot honey train yet. I should do that. Seafood delight. What's the seafood delight, my friend? Eclipse will get you. The Eclipse is going to miss me, I think. Let's see. I also made a pad thai burger and peanut butter sauce. That sounds pretty good. Arby's has a fried mortadella sandwich? No way. I got to look into that. Grilled cheese with brie, honey, and slices of apple. That is a good sandwich. The brie and apple. It's actually on this list over here. The brie and apple. Amazing combo. Let's see. Favorite open-faced sandwich? Cream of mushroom on toast. Yeah, I've heard that one. Even the cream of mushroom as a grilled cheese. Like, put just that between two slices of bread and grill it like the grilled cheese treatment. I've tried that one. It's good. I mean, I love cream of mushroom soup, so I think that's... and, my mom used to always put cream of mushroom like with leftover chicken or turkey or whatever, and just, cook that up on the stove and put it on toast as well. That was always a good meal. I haven't discussed... Is there no mustard at Subway? I haven't been in a minute. Maybe it's not a Canadian thing? I think they still have it in Canada. I'm going to have to look. I'll have to go to Subway. Let's see. Cold cut combo with ketchup. They give you ketchup at Subway, but no mustard? What's going on here? So have you ever been to... How are you? Have you ever been to Saskatchewan? Dark Star, noodles. I'm in Saskatchewan right now. I'm drinking a friggin' co-op beer, my friend. Look at that. It says Saskatchewan right on it. It's got a bear on it. I'm from Saskatchewan. I grew up here, and then I lived in the Yukon for 18 years, and now I live here again. Let's see. I love a good torta too. I haven't had a good torta in a while. I've made some tortas that have been a little subpar. I never get that good bolillo bread. But there is a Mexican bakery in Saskatoon that I've been meaning to get to, and I haven't gotten to in a while. But I'm hoping they have some nice bread I can buy there, and start getting some tortas. But I've got a friend who's been in Mexico for the last little while. He's been sending me pictures of all his beautiful tortas down there, and what a great sandwich! What sandwich from my childhood set me off on the journey? Well, I answered that one already. Did I get back to... Hold on here. Gnarly Garlic, how you doing, my friend? Nice to see you. I got to come out and get some scapes one of these days. Let's see. Would a pudgy pie be considered a sandwich? I would consider a pudgy pie to be, it's almost a turnover, but because you are using bread and you're making it sort of in that little grill machine, I think it is technically a sandwich because you are using that bread and you are trying to make it portable, which makes it a sandwich. Not the portability is a deal breaker in sandwiches because there are unportable sandwiches that I still consider sandwiches, but that's another tangent we won't really get into at the moment. Because you're using bread in a pudgy pie, typically I would say it is a sandwich. It's like it's a turnover sandwich hybrid. Let's see. I'm convinced if you have food you don't like enough, you'll eventually learn to like it. I agree with you, my friend. Let's see. Good night, friend. Let's see. Eric McNeil. What are my thoughts on Subway slicing their meat? Yeah, I noticed the meat slicer the last time I was in there a while back. And honestly, it's just, I know they want to try and compete with all the new kids on the block, like Jersey Mike's and Firehouse, or I don't know who else, Jimmy John's maybe. But it seems like it's just another ass ache for the employees who probably aren't making a good wage. So my thoughts on the deli slicer at Subway is... If you're going to make them slice meats, pay them more. That's it. I think just like adding like they already have the ass ache of the microwave oven they put in when Quiznos came up. Subway's strategy is just sort of like, oh, someone has a new thing in sandwiches. Let's copy it in like kind of a worse way and hope it kind of goes better. Because there's no doubt that Quiznos grilled subs were 1,000,000 times better than Subway's weird toaster oven microwave subs. There's no question that was a better system. But Quiznos is almost gone because Subways were just more prevalent, and you're like, I can get it toasted there. What am I going to pay an extra couple bucks to get like an actual good toasted sandwich? I'll just go to Subway. And I think that's kind of what they're hoping for with going up against the Jersey Mike's of the world as well, because Jersey Mike's is quite a bit more expensive. It's a better sandwich, But Subway slicing their meats isn't going to make it a better sandwich. It's just going to be like, it's like, oh, this is a nicer thing. But it's a more of a pain in the ass for the sandwich artists that work there. So I'm again it. Although, I'd like to have my own deli slicer too, though, but I don't pay myself. Let's see. Oh, thank you for thinking about me there, Reverend Oates. I do live in Saskatoon there, Shad. Let's see. Cream tuna on toast. So the cream tuna on toast, is it, are you using like a cream of mushroom, or was there like a cream sauce recipe that went with that tuna? I'm interested. And somebody's taking mustard away. I'm interested in that too. All this new sandwich news. Thanks for the sandwich news, my friends. Let's see. Can my favorite sandwich be a s'more? Grabule? Yeah. Your favorite sandwich can be anything you like, man. I mean, you don't have to live by the rules. You can do it. If you want to say your favorite sandwich is a s'more, yeah, do it. Who's going to stop you? It's your world, my friend. I have been to New Orleans a long time ago. I was there in 2007. I'd love to go back again someday. But yeah, 2007 was only a couple of years after Katrina. Things were still kind of rebuilding there. I didn't get a chance to get a muffaletta when I was there, unfortunately. But I did have a couple of po' boys while I was there, which were great. Like crawfish po' boys, and I think maybe it was a crawfish and a shrimp that I had. But yeah, New Orleans sandwiches are great. I got to get back there again one of these days. But it's been a minute. Let's see. Down the Piggly Wiggly. Ain't no Piggly Wigglies in Canada, so I haven't been down to the Piggly Wigglies. That's like a Texas chain, isn't it? Over in Alberta. Nice to see you, my friend, my neighbor. Multi-video with the Sandwiches of History. Well, we've done collabs before, Barry and I. Barry and I kind of started doing the TikToks and the videos around the same time. I think I was maybe a month or two before, but we're our TikToks are about the same size, and we've been pals for a long time, and so we've done a few collabs. I think there's a collabs playlist in my profile that you can check. Hello NPEI there, my friend. I gotta try Firehouse one of these days. Yeah, that's a great one. Best banh mi of Saskatoon. Yeah, shit, I've been thinking about doing that. And the one thing that I really want to kind of put out there is just how the banh mi is the sandwich of Saskatoon. And I say that because you can get banh mi at any sandwich restaurant in Saskatoon for the most part. Even non-Vietnamese restaurants have to have a banh mi because banh mi is the sandwich of Saskatoon. Even like, Christie's, the Italian bakery, they do a banh mi. Even, Backstreet Deli, they do a banh mi. You gotta have a banh mi if you're in Saskatoon. So I am going to go and check that out for sure. Quiznos, they also had that weird Quiznos monkey ad that didn't really work very well. I went into a Quiznos, there's one left in Whitehorse. I went into it there for lunch. I did a video on it. Maybe it was just a story. Maybe a year ago maybe. And it was funny. I walked into the Quiznos, and the lady who worked there looked like she hadn't had a customer in years. And I walked in, and she's like, "Hello!" And she was very excited to serve me. And the sandwich was great, but the bread was stale. And I know why it was stale, because no one had fucking been there in God knows how long, which is really too bad. Because, I didn't go to Quiznos very often because I've always been pretty broke. So, Quiznos are like, well, what am I going to do? Spend $14 on a sandwich? Yeah, I don't think so. Because, all their really good ones were pretty expensive. Like, they were good premium sandwiches, but they were expensive. But it was like a once-in-a-while type thing. They were good, but, they just weren't as convenient. And, yeah, you're right. They were just mismanaged, I think. Let's see. Do you agree with the idea that a sub or a hoagie sandwich is better if it's wrapped tightly? I do agree with that idea. 100%. You got to keep all that stuff in there. Hey, welcome to your first Sandwich Dad Live. I don't do them very often. The last couple of years I was doing them while I was waiting for my kid's bus back at Whitehorse. But I don't have to wait for their bus anymore because we don't live a million miles away from their school anymore. So I've been doing fewer lives. Now I just do them whenever Sandwich Mom leaves. So I can drink and maybe have a cigarette later. Don't tell her. Problem is that, yeah, exactly. Creaming tuna, making a white sauce, 1 can of tuna. Okay, I'm into it. I'm going to make some creamed tuna. There's that tuna rarebit old vintage video I've been meaning to make too. I gotta do some more stuff with canned fish. Canned fish is so hot right now. Let's see. Favorite number of the alphabet. Yours is blue. Let's see. I'm gonna go with clouds. Non-sandwich question. Fan of the Hip? I'm a fan of the Hip. I've never seen. I'm never going to get to now. I never went and saw the Hip live, but I saw Gord Downie live like 3 times. I was a huge Gord Downie solo project fan as well. Saw him with with Kathleen Edwards and with the Country Miracles in Vancouver and Stanley Park. Saw him once here and then once another time. Which it was too bad. I never actually went to a Hip concert. But yeah, I'm definitely a fan of the Hip. You can't not have a little bit of a soft spot for the Hip. That's for sure. Yeah, I'm sure in Australia there's lots of banh mi there too as well. I imagine you get some really good ones there as well. Let's see. Would you eat a Reuben straight out of the fridge, cold, cooked yesterday? Yes. There was a meme going around a while ago about how, in any kind of relationship, there's always one person who is hyper vigilant about expiration dates and one person who doesn't believe they exist. I am the person who does not believe they exist. I am very fine eating garbage if that garbage is my own. But yeah, I would 100% eat a cold Reuben straight out of the fridge in like 10 seconds. If I had the means and the time to maybe toss it in the air fryer or something like that, or in the oven, maybe I would, but maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I'd be like, how good is this cold? And I'd just go for it. Can I see how long people have been following me for? I would love to do that, actually, Gassed Up JDM. Yeah, if you're out there and you're following Old Sandwich Dad, I'd love to know how long you've been following me for. I've been doing this for 3 and a bit years now, I guess, on TikTok. So yeah, if you want to write down how often you've been or how long you've been following me, that would be amazing. Nice to see if there's some old schoolers here for sure. Pineapple on a sandwich. You know what? I think you're right. You know what? Peanut butter and pineapple coming next week. Putting it up there. Let's see. Favorite spice topping. Ooh, that's a good one. Favorite spice topping. I'm a couple years behind, but I'm really leaning into the old tarragon trend these days. Really getting some tarragon in. Favorite banh mi in Saskatoon, Kate? Ooh, I can't not say Frankie's because it's just the Frankie's Banh Mi shop, in my opinion, is the best sandwich shop in Western Canada. I love the way that it's set up. I love that you just walk in and it's right downtown on 21st. They only have 5 options. You can get some sides like some Springer fresh rolls or some gyoza or whatever. Sandwich and a pop, $11.50, and they just call your name. What do you want? You're like they're just asking for a number 1 through 5. Just, yep, get a 3. All right, perfect. And then you're up there. You pay for it before you even get it. It's amazing. It's a great system. So I gotta say Frankie's. Although if you're gonna go over and check out a new banh mi place in Saskatoon, you gotta check out Nan Nan on 8th Street in the old Xanadu building. I was there with Clayton the other day, and that place is amazing. And when you walk in their doors is just like rows of sandwiches on it. It's the best doors in Saskatoon. Anyways, so that's my favorite banh mi in Saskatoon. I am Canadian. Gassed Up JDM. Let's see. Number 1 overall sandwich. It's like asking me to pick what my favorite kid. I have one, but I'm not going to tell you which one. Let's see. 2.7 years. That's amazing. So you've been on there for a long time, Buster. I really appreciate it. Thanks for sticking with me. Go ahead, my friend. Is a hot dog a sandwich? It is. I've got my chart there. Just to simplify it, if ye vessel be bread, you've a sandwich, my friend. Let's see. 1.5 years. Thanks so much, my friend. I really appreciate you following me for that long. Favorite hot sauce? That's a good question. I know there's a few out there I like. I can't think of them at the moment. There was a Belizean one I really liked. It had a very similar label to that Mama Whatever's that Jake's always got. But no, I can't remember. Sorry, everyone. I paused the live there by accident. Let's see. Where are we? Where are you? Favorite hot sauce? Yeah, I think it's Marie Sharp's. Maybe that was what it was called. Belizean hot sauce I had. I really liked that one. Favorite type of lettuce? Arugula, the lettuce of Europe. That's always a good one. Hi, Avery. Which Avery? Avery Cormody? Avery Abbott? But hi. Let's see. Opinion on the Drake video. There's a new Drake video? I'm surprised I haven't heard of it. Sandwich Mum is a pretty big Drake fan. I haven't seen a new Drake video yet. I'll have to look into it. Started in Alaska, in the Yukon, my friend. Yeah, I lived in the Yukon for about 18 years. I lived in Dawson City for a long time, and then the last 4 years before I moved back to Saskatchewan, I was in Whitehorse. But yeah, right next to Alaska. Alaskan neighbors. Pardon me. Let's see. Thoughts on shredded carrots on a sandwich? It should be on there more. It's so odd to me that, like, the only real sandwich that has shredded carrot on it is a banh mi. There's shredded carrots in lots of salads, and salads go great on sandwiches. They go great with lots of dressings and condiments and toppings. Shredded carrots on a sandwich? Yes. More of that, please. How can you tell? I don't know how long you can tell. I mean, you kind of just got to guess it. Like, how long have I been following this weird guy? I guess it depends. Uh-oh. What's happening here? Oh, my live's going to end in a second. Oh, hold on. Oh, I frigged it up. Verification complete. They almost cut off my live, friends. I had to do something there. Let's see. Subscribe to live. Let's see. Marie Sharps, that's the one. I still am in Saskatoon, Tyson. Oh, hi, Avery Cormandy. How are you? I will tell Pearl that you said hello. Best all-around bread for sandwiches. If you saw that that roll for sandwich video, the guy who put together all the stats and was trying to come up with the bread that was most rolled to result in the highest ratings of sandwiches, the result was rye, very clearly. And I was thinking about it, and it's not wrong. Rye is a pretty solid bread. You know what, Tyson? I was thinking about the Blue Diamond restaurant just the other day. I've never been. I've driven. I grew up in Saskatoon, so I've driven past that a million times, and I'm like, it's hard to believe it's still around. For those of you not from Saskatoon, it is like the most 80s looking restaurant, Greek restaurant you ever saw in your life. It was like, all the restaurants in Saskatoon used to be like almost all Greek. And this one is like, it's got, like, the front of it, the restaurant's all blue glass, and it kind of comes out at an angle like the bottom of a diamond, like the windows in the entrance. And I've actually never been. I got to go. And you know what? Because I'm guessing it's still Greek. I don't know, because I got to look into it again. But, I just recently found out, and I didn't know this. I guess it was a bit more popular in like the 80s. But there is a Saskatchewan sandwich that I didn't know about. I just found out about it. The Fragilaki. The Fragilaki, it's a Saskatchewan Greek souvlaki type sandwich, but it's specific to Saskatchewan Greek-owned restaurants, sort of from the 70s and 80s. And I'm going to go check one out probably this week or next week. So the Fragilaki, I got to check that one out. But yeah, you got to check out the Blue Diamond. I got to get there too, see if they've got any interesting sandwiches going on. I'm going to make that statistic sandwich. You know, Dave, I think I am. The only thing stopping me right now is I haven't been to the grocery store since that came out. I need to pick up some vegan cheese, because the vegan cheese was actually the #1 rated cheese, which seems weird because I don't remember Jake using vegan cheese more than 5 times. But I got to go find that vegan cheese for this ultimate statistic sandwich. It's still great. Well, that's good to know, Buster. I'm going to go check it out, because I was thinking about the Blue Diamond the other day. It's a relic of of a Saskatoon past, for sure. Let's see. Favorite place to eat in Saskatoon? That is a good question. Favorite place to eat here? Ooh. You know what? There's a lot of really good restaurants. It depends on what I'm going out for. I do really like the fine dining restaurants in Saskatoon. I haven't been to the new Dale McKay one, the F&B. I was thinking about going next weekend, actually. Maybe getting rid of my kids and sending them over to Sandwich Grandparents and going out there. It's super expensive, is the only thing that always holds me back. But the fine dining restaurants in Saskatoon are great. Like Primal is amazing. Little Grouse is really good. Hearth is really good. But if we're talking about just like average casual restaurants, my favorite one that I've been to that I keep thinking about again is Nong Nong on 8th Street. Just like the best Vietnamese restaurant that I've been to in a while. Just like their noodle bowl was immensely huge and super flavorful, and their banh mi was really good too. So that's kind of my place at the moment. McGriddles. I think it is kind of wrong to use two pancakes as sandwich slices. But who am I to judge? I've used weirder shit for sandwiches. Um, I don't have that much of a sweet tooth, which is the only reason that I feel mildly uncomfortable with the old McGriddle thing. I had a McGriddle chicken sandwich kind of recently when it came out. Didn't like it. But to each their own. If McGriddles are your thing, I'm not going to tell you they're no good. Maybe it's something I just got to get you more used to. Problem with stats, but it's based off Jake's preferences, and that's true. That is 100% true. I was thinking that because it is based on his preferences, which is why Kewpie Mayo is the number one sauce, because that is very much, you can see the bias in Jake's videos. That is definitely his favorite condiment. He's very excited when it gets rolled. Bacon, another thing. He's always very excited when it gets rolled. Of course, it's way up there. So it is kind of just sort of like his favorites, because all these sandwiches are subjective, which is, I think, why I don't rate as much anymore. The whole easy chair rating thing was kind of a fun thing, but and I like kind of doing it in sort of a silly way now. But yeah, you're right. It is totally subjective to Jake's taste as well. So, but I still want to try it, because every time I try one of Jake's videos, I get crazy views. So I kind of have to. Let's see. Have I tried the cave? Yeah, not for a minute. I was there a couple of years ago, maybe a few years back. We went and visited. There's also that there's a car rental in Saskatoon. You can rent the Rock, and it's just like a weird car that just has like a bunch of rocks glued to it, I guess. Rent the Rock and go to the cave. That was a friend of mine and I were thinking about doing that. The cave also has a pizza challenge I was going to do with Clayton a while back, but I'll go there again. What do I do for work? Well, these days I'm just your average government drone. I took the old golden handcuffs of an indeterminate position with the government of Canada, which is fine. But I did that after Sandwich Lad was born, because for the last 10 years before that, I was a Parks Canada guy, and so I worked at a lot of heritage interpretive sites, and I was interpretation coordinator, and I ran programming and created programming, and read poetry to old people sometimes. But that was the job that I really liked, which I kind of had to sell out to get a full-time job that paid better. But there was a springboard to that. So yeah, just really boring administrative government stuff at the moment. But it's it's benefits, and it's enough free time to make sandwiches and do that as well. Thank you very much, Agent Cody Banks 79. Thank you for saying so. They can do stats on my videos using a similar model. Yeah, well, yeah, I don't rate my sandwiches as much, though, I think is the thing. I mean, if you could probably go through my videos and gauge my reaction to certain things. I mean, do I know what my favorites are? Like, I really love mortadella. I really like Keen's mustard. I probably tend towards a Kewpie Mayo. I don't know about pickles. Would I put pickles on something? Brie. Anything with brie on it, I'd probably go nuts for. But yeah, I think you could make something pretty similar with mine. If I thought about it long enough, I could probably come up with a lazy man stat sandwich of what my ultimate sandwich would be. Is there a meat you feel doesn't work well in a sandwich? That's a good question. What meat doesn't work well in a sandwich? I can't. One doesn't come to mind immediately. I think that most meats are eaten on sandwiches, but yeah, nothing that comes to mind, I'm afraid. Let's see. What's my favorite food? Who's my favorite food creator on TikTok? That's a good question too. Um, Favorite food creators. That's gonna be someone who actually makes food, I would say. Um, Golden Gully, I think I like quite a bit. Well, that's not his name anymore. I can't even remember his name, but I follow him all the time. He's amazing and based out of Toronto. Um, yeah, he's awesome. I like the Shelby Shawarma place too. They're great. Obviously, Jake and Jim and Barry are all my pals, and they're some of my favorites. Jim, I think Jim's like doing what I wanted to do, but is like 10 years ahead of me. So the whole like Sandwich Tribunal thing. When I started Sandwich Dad and started doing the blog, I realized that someone was also already doing the similar thing, and he was about 10 years ahead of me. And turns out Jim is also about 12 years older than me. So Jim is just me 12 years from now. I'm hoping anyway. I'll be Jim when I'm in my 50s for sure. But I love the way that he comes at sandwiches and looks at them, and I think we have a very similar view. And so I gotta say Jim's probably my favorite. Let's see. There's not a huge difference, but Kewpie has MSG in it, which helps get a bit more umami from it. I think they use more egg yolk too, so it's a bit richer. Good evening, Aaron. Your friends call you Mr. Sandwan. That's pretty cool. Uh, yeah, maybe Buster. It's hard for me to do anything. I'm just, with 3 kids and work and sandwiching, and my wife's always kind of. I feel like I'm super busy a lot of the time, but I would love to go for supper one of these days for sure. Yeah, just shoot me a DM if you want, my friend. I'd love to hook up and try and make a plan. I can't promise anything just because I'm really bad at getting out of my own house. But yeah, just shoot me a message, my friend. Favorite sandwich meat? Mortadella. Let's see. Ate a cream cheese and raw onion and garlic with real honey drizzle. Heavy blue eyes? That sounds all right. MSG for you. Yeah. Good old Uncle Roger. Turkey sandwiches after turkey dinner is the best because you can add stuffing and cranberry sauce. You're right about that. Easter's coming up, although I usually prefer to have a ham for Easter. Oh, yeah, we got to get Sandwich Mum back on. She's about due to get back on a video here. There's there's a lot of people love when Sandwich Mum does a video. A lot of people don't like when Sandwich Mum does a video. She is a divisive personality. There was that meme going around a while ago that was like it was like a comment from someone, like probably a Twitter post or something, and it said it's like, how come all like these like really like nice quiet guys always have these really hyper aggressive girlfriends? And the comment below was like, someone has to tell the waiter I didn't order mashed potatoes, and it's not going to be me. That pretty much sums it up. Let's see here. Yeah, that'd be great, Buster. Yeah, just shoot me a message. Like again, I have no idea when I can make it happen. And like I'm not trying to say like, oh, I'm way too busy for you. I'd love to make new friends and hang out, my friend. It's just it's fucking hard for me to hang out with my friends I already have. So, but hey, shoot me a message because I'd love to get to know you. If you're in town, you're a sandwich fan. Yeah, that'd be totally cool, man. Just shoot me a message in the old TikTok and all, or an Instagram or wherever. Let's see. Turkey and stuffing is amazing. Yeah. Beef Jersey is a meat. Beef jerky, yeah. I've seen beef jerky go in sandwiches on roll for sandwich before. Let's see. UK chip buddy. The UK chip buddy I made a while back. I got to do it again because the one thing I will say about people in the UK, and if there's any of you listening, not meant to be an insult, but boy, those folk take their sandwiches pretty seriously. I put both red and brown sauce on my chip buddy, and I don't know if I'll be welcome in England until I remedy that situation. That did not go over very well. Got me some good engagement on my content, though. But I'm going to make a chip buddy again because I want to make proper chips, and I want to just use red and nice white bread and butter. Do I have an opinion on it? It's a very English sandwich, is my opinion on it, and I do like English sandwiches. The Ploughman's is my favorite English sandwich. I do like the old, the Branston, the pickle. Let's see. Make sandwiches in the holidays, a little series. Yeah, I could do that, a little sandwich holiday series. That'd be cool. Leftover lamb with mint jelly. That would be great. You know, I was going to get some lamb. Sandwich Mom's big on lamb, and I was going to get some, but then it was expensive, so I didn't. But it's on my to-do. I want to make like a... You know what I want to make is from The Princess Bride, Billy Crystal's character, Magic, or what is his name? Magic Max? Anyway, Miracle Max. Always talks about an MLT, a mutton lettuce tomato sandwich where the mutton is lean and tomato is ripe. I gotta make an MLT one of these days. Want to get rid of dill or sweet pickle? I would kick sweet pickle out the door with no problem. That's one of the few things that I don't really care for. And not to say it doesn't have its place. A roast beef and matzo melty sandwich with a sweet pickle is better than a dill pickle. But I would rather have dill 9 times out of 10 than a sweet pickle, 100%. Tuna and sweet corn. Yeah, the corn on the sandwich is really something. Oh, which one? Like this is is that my Benny Allen? My Benny Allen's a good one. Benny's a friend of mine from Dawson City who commissions ugly portraits. I did that. He sent that to me. Pardon me. He sent that to me, and I made a clam po' boy for him. All right, friends. My phone is at 3%. These lives really do take the thing out of my phone. I guess I could plug in my phone while I do them, but I didn't. So I'm going to start wrapping this up, my friends. It's been really nice talking to everybody. I haven't had a haggis sandwich yet. It's been on the list though. I want to do it for Robbie Burns Day next year, maybe. I keep forgetting, but I got to grab some haggis from the local butcher. I know they do make it, especially around Robbie Burns, and definitely make a haggis sandwich. I'm also very fluent in Robert Service. He's no Robbie Burns, but they sometimes their nights are associated, and I can do a lot of Robert Service from heart one of these days. Grilled halloumi. I'm not doing a grilled halloumi pita, but I'm doing a grilled halloumi sandwich this week. It's on my list, and it is coming soon, my friends. So stick around for that one. I love a smoked salmon sandwich. I'm going to try and figure out a good smoked salmon for Sandwiches of Canada for a BC sandwich. I've got a few I'm going to try there. I've always been in Canada. I get told that sometimes though that my accent is mixed. When I used to bartend, everyone thought I was Irish. Maybe it was the whiskey talking. I don't know. But when I worked in the service industry, people always thought I was English, but no, I was born here in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and spent most of my days either here or in the Yukon. But let's see, do a slug burger. Oh yeah, I've heard of the slug burger. Yeah, that's with all the onions. Is that right? I'm gonna look that one up too. That one's. I've been thinking about that one for a minute, but I am gonna start hitting the road here, my friends. Thanks everybody for hanging out with me in the old sandwich cave here. I was hoping I'd be finished my beer before I open this next one, but I've been meaning to do something about this for a minute. I bought this, and I've been wanting to drink it for a while, and you fine people are the ones who really get to see it. But you know what? Thanks for sticking around. I want to do more lives. I'm going to try and start a Wednesday night live, maybe either weekly or bi-weekly. So stay tuned for that. We'll actually do some discussions on sandwich topics, try and keep things maybe on topic a little bit rather than just sort of like the hanging out and chatting, although I do love just hanging out and chatting as well. So thanks for hanging around with me. This is a soju, a little Korean soju that I found, and I'm going to have this one. Love you too, my friend. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Grilled halloumi coming soon. Any other requests? Shoot me a message in the DMs. I'm always open to chat. Sandwich Dad. Good day. Oh, that's nice.